Hi there, and welcome to Little River DIY. We're starting this channel now. Unfortunately, we have to make episode 1 because we had a bit of an emergency yesterday. We had planned out other things, but this is what we're going to do for now. So here's the scenario. I was at a customer's cottage yesterday, fixing their internet, because that's what I do for a living. And the water pump came on while I was in the basement waiting for the modem to come online, and it ran for like 8 straight minutes. So I informed them, as they live in the city and don't know this stuff, that they have to have air in their tank and that they needed to pump it up. Now, the irony being, as soon as I got home, I went into my basement looking for something, which I probably wouldn't ordinarily have been doing, and I could hear dripping. So I went over to see what was dripping, and then this had a puddle under it. So now I thought, oh, that's wonderful. So I started to rock it a little bit, and then it started to really spew out. So then I ran over, turned off the power, and I went over and I rocked it again, and it snapped right off. You have no idea how close this was to a disaster. This would have flooded the basement, burned out the sump pump and the jet pump if I hadn't have been there. So, that was on Sunday evening, of course, at about 6 o'clock. So everything was closed. So I had to get up this morning, and after an hour and a half of driving, $400 later, we got a new pressure tank. So anyway, we're going to show you how we're going to change this tank just real quick as an introductory episode. Now I got to be quick about it because I know my wife right now is like, how do you have time to make a video when I don't have any water? She doesn't really sound like that, but that's how I hear it. So we're going to get this thing in as soon as possible. All right, so we're going to flip it over here and get rid of this old rotten fitting. All right, so I'm going to just clean the threads up a little bit here. Doesn't matter too much because the important threads are all clean. So we get our Teflon tape. Okay. This one's nicer because it's actually part of the tank. All right, let's go put it inside. All right, welcome to the dungeon. This is a pre-charged tank, so I didn't have to put air in it, just in case anybody's wondering. So that's where the old one was, and that's where this one's going. Trust me, all this is getting changed at some point. It's pretty bad. But today I'm in emergency mode. Okay. Let's see how we did. All right, so I'm just flipping on the breaker to the water pump, and we'll see what happens. Well, so far so good. It's not spewing out water everywhere. Oh, problem solved. Okay, so now probably everybody's gonna go have a shower now and then we'll get back to you. All right, so here we are back, all showered up. This is not several days later, and I'm just trying to make it look like I got out of the shower. Who are you kidding? So what do you do when you don't have any water, as we had there? And if you don't have a shallow well, you're gonna wanna have a rain barrel, because if we had a deep well, I would have had that set up, but I don't need to do that here because we have this well, and this is gonna be a job for another video. This cracked last winter. So anyway, all I did was, see how full that is? Just so you know, we haven't had rain here in about 2 weeks. That's how close we are to the little river. It's right there, and that's all swamp, so we never have to worry about running out of water. So all I did was I grabbed my pail. All right, let's assume this is going smoother than this. It went easier the last time. So that's for flushing the toilet. We had distilled water to brush our teeth and everything like that. You want to make sure you have access to some water. Before, when we lived in another place, I had to drive down to a bridge and chuck this thing off the bridge into a river and bring water home in Rubbermaid containers. That sucked. Ever since then, I used the rain barrel, and now, like I said, I have that. So that's what we did for water. Okay, so once again, I can't emphasize how close this was to a possible disaster. So how are we going to avoid this from happening again? The last tank lasted about 8 years because it was installed right before we got the house, and I have a date on it so I could see that. So I'm going to put on this one to change it in 5 years. So I'm going to put it on my agenda for 2030 to change it. And also, I recommend this for everybody. I've had it for a very long time. I just have a toggle switch, like an old style light switch, on the way out the door. So I'll show you a picture of it. And when we're leaving, we just flick that off. That way, if it were happening and nobody's home, it just would, whatever's in the system would leak out, but it wouldn't keep pumping it out. And just be warned that if there's little kids around that like to play with switches, it can be really interesting, because my brother was here having a shower, and our son's old enough when we installed it that he knew not to touch it, but these little kids came over and they were flicking the switches, and my brother was not able to finish his shower comfortably and was very unhappy about it. There you have it. And please help us to grow this new channel. Like and subscribe and give us a comment. Hopefully get the algorithm going. And if you like woodworking, we can click on one of those videos over there and go to our woodworking channel. Thanks for watching.